Alright. Get settled in here. Hello everyone, my name is Mike, and this is the Bored Cyborg. Welcome back to another episode of What I've Watched, which is a series where I catalog the films that I watched in the previous weeks in a sort of video journal sort of fashion, talk about them, give you my thoughts on them. It's just sort of my way of talking about more films, because obviously I enjoy doing that. Hopefully you enjoy hearing me do that, so I will stop rambling. Let's get right into it. I watched I watched a bunch of movies, but some not worthy of really me talking about. So I'm going to talk about 5 or 6 movies that I've watched over the couple last weeks or so, and yeah, let's do it. Alright, the first one is a Paul W.S. Anderson film. Hair everywhere. Hair, there's always dog hair everywhere. The first film that I want to talk about is Pompeii, which is directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, a filmmaker that I call an auteur. I think he's an underrated filmmaker. He makes popcorn movies. He makes entertaining movies. So much fun. I pretty much love all of his work. Call me crazy. I'd love to have some discussion, some debate in the comments as to why people don't like his movies. I don't get it. I love the Resident Evil movies that he's directed. In fact, I love all of them for fun reasons. You know, they're not great films. I recognize that. But I think they're so entertaining. Fun action, fun movies. That's what it comes down to sometimes, man. So, he also did Event Horizon, which is, in my opinion, inarguably a great film. I think it's a great sci-fi horror film. Anyway, Paul W.S. Anderson, I'd love to do a video on him one day in the future. So, Pompeii is a film that I've been holding off on because I've heard really, really bad things. And man, I gotta stop doing that. I gotta stop hearing bad things and putting films off. That is not something I want to practice anymore, because I loved Pompeii. Pompeii is great. It's a Paul W.S. Anderson film. In fact, it's a Paul W.S. Anderson film that has more poignancy than any other film of his that I've seen. It's got some real moments of feeling, evocative moments. It's cheesy, of course it's cheesy at points. It's got some action sequences that have the slow motion, and it's got some questionable dialogue. The script is good, but the dialogue is just kind of inconsistent. Anyway, Pompeii is about Pompeii. It's about the destruction of Pompeii via Mount Vesuvius in, I think it's like 64 AD, somewhere along those lines, in, of course, Pompeii. And it stars Kit Harington from Game of Thrones, most famously, and I thought he did a great job in the movie. He's a good action hero, he's stoic, he's taciturn, and kicks a little bit of ass, and I dug it, man. I think he's basically doing Jon Snow in a lot of ways, but that's what we came to see. Kiefer Sutherland plays the villain in this. He's the corrupt Roman Empire, essentially, that wants to take over Pompeii and make it not the paradise. He wants to change it from the paradise that it currently is. And little does he know that nature has different plans. And it's a really cool story, man. I really like the setup of the story, the narrative structure. It's a romance, for sure. Not too heavy on the romance, but what's there works for me. And the first half of the film, the first 3/4 of the film, is very Gladiator-esque. Ridley Scott's Gladiator. It's about a man who's brought into slavery, Kit Harington's character, and forced to fight his way to freedom, and eventually for his love, played by Emily Browning, who does a good job. So that's the first 3/4, but then it weaves this narrative of destruction. It gives you little inklings here and there. It gives you some foreshadowing of what's going on with the mountain, the volcano that's about to erupt, and it all culminates into the last act, which is just essentially a disaster film. And man, is it fun. Great CG, by the way. Really impressive CG, which you won't hear coming out of my mouth often, to be honest. And loved Pompeii. What can I say? I didn't... Love is a strong word. I really, really liked Pompeii. Really enjoyed it. And holy shit, I have goosebumps. Goosebumps right now, thinking about the last scene, which is breathtaking. Honestly, I think it's perfectly composed. I'm not going to spoil it. If nothing else, watch the last scene. It is artistry in movement. I'm not being facetious. I really liked Pompeii, guys. If you like Paul W.S. Anderson's films as just fun popcorn entertaining movies, which is what we want sometimes. Check out Pompeii. Don't let the bad reviews fool you. And check it out. Loved Pompeii. Great movie. Glad to have it in the collection. Next one up, like I said, I've been on a disaster movie kick. This one I liked. I liked. Not quite as much as Pompeii, but this is The Core from 2003, starring Hilary Swank and Aaron Eckhart. What I really liked about The Core was the dialogue. I thought the dialogue was great. The script has so much scientific inaccuracies, and I'm no scientist. I study sciences. I'm very interested in sciences, and even I could tell that some of the shit that they were spewing is just asinine, just way out there, impossible, improbable, hocus pocus, really. But it doesn't matter. I don't watch sci-fi films, especially disaster sci-fi films, for that. And it is science fiction, so anybody that complains about it not being accurate, I think you're missing the point. Essentially, this is a remake. Not really a remake. It's a reimagining of Jules Verne's The Journey to the Center of the Earth, which I'll talk about shortly. And it's essentially that. You know, it stars Aaron Eckhart and a bunch of other character actors: Stanley Tucci, Delroy Lindo, DJ Qualls, a bunch of people like that. You know, and they all play different scientists, and they all have their different roles on the ship, essentially, or drill that drills to the center of the Earth once they learn that the core has died out. The core of our planet has died out, and they have to reignite it, or the planet stops working. So they attempt to do just that, and I really like the chemistry between the crew. I think that's one of the film's strengths. I think they really play off each other well. It's got some Bruce Greenwood's in it also, by the way. It's got some evocative moments. It's got some moments that definitely left me... I didn't get emotional with the film, but it definitely almost got me. You know what I mean? The Core is a fun, maybe overlong science fiction film. It's over 2 hours long, so I was feeling a little burnt out by the end of it. And it's one of those that should have ended 2 or 3 times, 3 or 4 times really, but it didn't. It just kept going. It's like, okay, I get it. And but that is The Core from 2003, directed by John Emile. I forget what else he's done. He did another film that I'm fond of. Can't remember right now. But yeah, The Core. I wouldn't mind upgrading to Blu-ray on this one, to be honest, but I've not found it out in the wild. So that is The Core from 2003. Not a bad disaster film. Check it out. Alright, I really should have talked about this one first. I don't plan these out too well, to be honest. But I watched this one 2 nights ago, as of recording this video, and that is Journey to the Center of the Earth. After watching The Core and seeing the similarities between the original Jules Verne story, more hair everywhere, the correlations between the original Jules Verne story and The Core, I had to check out the original film from 1959, starring James Mason, who is fantastic. He's in a lot of these sort of adventure, Jules Vernean sort of adventure films from the 50s and 60s. He's great, such presence. He's just an aristocratic sort of actor. He's got a gravitas about him, mastery of the English language, you know, he's just a gentleman actor, and I really dig James Mason, and he is the star in this, along with Pat Boone, and Arlene Dahl, that's right, the female lead in this, who I really loved. So Journey to the Center of the Earth, not a big fan of it, which is very surprising. I thought I was gonna really love this film. I thought, in fact, I like The Core more than it, and I will get into reasons why. So, for one, the pacing is off. It takes forever to get to the point where they start getting into this, going toward the center of the Earth. It's very slow, it's very methodical. It's not necessarily boring, I lost interest pretty early on. When they get to the point where they start traveling to the center of the Earth, it does pick up pace for sure, but I don't know, it just never really vibed with me too much. The script is fine, the dialogue is fantastic, the acting is superb across the board. I guess I don't know, it just didn't click with me. It's hard for me to really put a finger on it. Some of the things that I definitely dislike about it, there was a good amount of James Mason's character was sort of a misogynist, for one, and he just kept saying, women can't do that, women can't do this, and, you know, it's of the time and everything, but I do like that Arlene Dahl's character was a take-no-shit woman. She was out to prove to James Mason's character that she could do everything that the men are doing, and I loved that about the film. And it does come full circle, and kind of, there is some redemption for James Mason's character, but it did get a little old with him saying it kind of over and over again. The film also lost some points towards the end when they start using animals. You know the old shtick during the 50s where they used animals in front of a green screen to make them look larger. You know, this happened in quite a few movies in the 50s. Now, some do it better than others. Some movies I just can't watch, frankly, guys, because these animals are clearly being hurt, and it, say what you will, but it affects me. I don't like to see that. Again, I've said this before, no animal should die for a film. And in this film, there are some reptiles, lizards, that definitely die. They kill them on screen for a scene, and I can't get down with that. I just can't get down with it. I don't care how old the film is, doesn't matter to me. I don't approve of it. And the film instantly takes a hit in that sense. But even up to that point, this film was still average at best for me, and it maintained that average status. It's just an okay film. A lot of people love this movie. It's hailed as a classic. I just don't see it. I don't get it. And the next film I talk about is a film that I think does everything this film does way better. And so that is Journey to the Center of the Earth, 1959. Great artwork, though. I love the artwork here. Alright, so the next film, this is my beautiful Ray Harryhausen set here. The Wonderful Worlds of Ray Harryhausen Volume 2. I don't have Volume 1. Need that. This is a great set by Indicator. Beautiful all-region set here. They do such great work. Beautiful cover. Beautiful slip here. Sturdy. Now, this has Jason and the Argonauts. 3 Harryhausen films, obviously. Or films that he did the effects for. Jason and the Argonauts. First Men in the Moon. And the film that I watched a few nights ago, Mysterious Island. So, Mysterious Island. This is my kind of adventure fantasy film from the 60s. This came out 2 years later than Journey to the Center of the Earth, in 1961, and does everything so much better than Journey to the Center of the Earth. They don't kill any animals. Ray Harryhausen, I don't know what his stance was on hurting animals for film, but he created the animals, obviously, through his beautiful dynamation, his stop-motion animation techniques, and they're fantastic. We get a giant crab, a giant squid octopus thing, cephalopod of some sort. We get a terror bird of some sort, a prehistoric ostrich-like bird that is just insane, and obviously the special effects are out of this world. They still blow me away. The man was an absolute genius, and it's so sad that stop motion has all but died out. You know, Travis Knight, people are still working with it, and it seems to be getting a resurgence, which it totally deserves. It's such a beautiful art form that I think needs to be preserved. And Mysterious Island is another Jules Verne book that was made into a movie here. You know, during the 50s and 60s, tons of Jules Verne novels were being adapted to the screen, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, amongst many others. The Mysterious Island is damn near perfect, in my opinion. It's about a group of Union soldiers during the Civil War and one Confederate soldier, which gives it a nice dynamic, who escape the war, essentially, in a hot air balloon. And they float off to a distant island in the middle of nowhere, and it turns out this island is still prehistoric in a lot of ways. It hasn't been affected by modern society. It's been left to its own devices to evolve in the way that it sees fit, and that's why we get all these giant monsters, giant crabs and birds and cephalopods, like I was saying. And ironically, this features a character, Captain Nemo, that James Mason played in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, another Jules Verne novel to movie. So it's all connected in a weird way. Now, Captain Nemo is played by Herbert Lom in this film, and he does a fantastic job. Doesn't come into the movie. He's there throughout the movie, but sort of behind the scenes, kind of orchestrating things for our are survivors that are literally trying to survive. It's very much a survival film. They're hunting, they're, cooking their own food, they're building their own shelter. It's basically prehistoric man finding his way again when the luxuries of technology and modern society are not at their whim. It's just a wonderful film, guys, with a diverse cast. Everybody gets their time to shine in the movie, and it's just a feel-good movie with great effects, great production design, fantastic production design. Some of the sets are just beautiful, and if you like fantasy adventure films, this is one you have to check out. From 1961, I enjoyed it so much more than Journey to the Center of the Earth, unfortunately for that film. But Mysterious Island, a Harryhausen film that not many people talk about, deserves to be rediscovered, and this Blu-ray is mind-blowingly crystal clear. Just perfect. Indicator does such great work. And let's see the cast. Not a very, like I said, a diverse cast, but nobody that I really recognized. Michael Craig, Joan Greenwood, Michael Callan, Gary Merrill, Beth Rogan, and Herbert Lom. I know Herbert Lom, but all of these guys and girls do such a great job, great chemistry, and the acting is superb. The script is superb. I love this film, guys. I mean, like I said, damn near perfect in my opinion, and one of the best films that Harryhausen has worked on. This was directed by Cy Endfield. Not sure what else he's done. This was the first film of his that I had seen, and man, I can't recommend this enough. Mysterious Island, such a great movie. Such a great movie. And I do want to check out, I've seen both of these films before, First Men in the Moon and Jason and the Argonauts, but I do want to rewatch them because I haven't seen them on Blu-ray. So, love this Indicator set. Look, it's got a nice booklet here with the skeleton from Jason and the Argonauts and just a bunch of information about the movies and about Harryhausen's style. The man is a legend. He was a master of his craft. I think people like Travis Knight obviously looked up to him growing up, and such an important filmmaker and special effects man. And I don't know, I don't think we'd have CG without him. I think he was the progenitor of all things fantastical and things that only our imaginations could conjure. He brought it to life with his two hands. So it's a beautiful thing. Mysterious Island, loved it. And the last film I am going to talk about, I was in the mood for some motherfucking Chuck. That is Chuck Norris in Lone Wolf McQuade I checked out for the second time. This also has Missing in Action, Code of Silence, and Delta Force. 4 of his best films in my opinion. But damn, Lone Wolf McQuade is absolutely one of his best, if not his best. I am going to say that it is, in fact, his best performance. He's not cheesy Chuck Norris too much in this movie. He really isn't. He's stoic. He goes about his business. He kicks ass. He doesn't say much, which I think is to its benefit. There are some Chuck movies where he's got way too much dialogue and it just doesn't work. But man, he emotes in this movie. He is pissed in this movie. They kill and hurt a lot of things he loves, and a lot of things and people and animals that he loves, and he just goes on a rampage. Lone Wolf also has a great villain in David Carradine, coming off of Kung Fu, and he plays a drug-running karate master, essentially. So, can't go wrong with that. And yes, him and Chuck duke it out at the end, and it's glorious. But up to that point, it's just a fun, balls-to-the-wall, machismo-laden action film that has so much spaghetti western injected into it. Its aesthetic, its music, its score is wonderful. Honestly, it's such a great score for a Chuck Norris action movie. It's very, very spaghetti western. In fact, the guy who did it, don't know his name, can't recall it. I guess I could look it up. Not on here. Anyway, he did a lot of spaghetti westerns in the 70s, and he came on to do this and does a fantastic job scoring the film. The direction is on point. The cinematography is on point. It's just an all-around great action movie. Honestly. Starring Chuck Norris. Like I said, one of Chuck Norris's best, if not his best film, in my opinion. There are some others that I consider right there with it. Code of Silence is one. And I really want to rewatch Code of Silence again, because that's another ass-kicking movie. Invasion USA, I love, one of his best, but those are more cheesy. Code of Silence, not as much. Invasion USA is cheesy, but I wouldn't call Lone Wolf too cheesy. Yes, it's a bit. Of course, inherently, it's an 80s action movie starring Chuck Norris. It's gonna be cheesy, but it has some real moments of feeling. And Chuck, again, emotes in this movie. You can actually see some anger and some sadness in his face, and it's really impressive. I love Lone Wolf McQuade. Some memorable sequences in this movie. Great action, explosions, gunfire, karate, kung fu, madness. Lone Wolf McQuade. Alright guys, those are the films that I checked out over the last couple of weeks, which I deemed worthy to talk about. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to give the video a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel and want to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well as the little bell for notifications. I'd love to know which of the films that I showed today that you've seen, maybe which one is your favorite. Get a little discussion going. I always enjoy talking to you guys. Anyways, guys, I will see you next time. Bored Cyborg, out.